Have you ever looked in the mirror, spotted a rogue little hair poking out of your nostril, and thought, seriously? This is what evolution gave me? It seems random, even unfair. We lose hair where we want it, on our heads, and we keep sprouting it where we don't. The nose, the ears, even eyebrows that refuse to stay neat. But nose hair, of all things, actually has a secret. And once you learn what it does, you might never look at those tiny strands the same way again. Let's be honest, nose hair has terrible PR. Magazines, beauty tutorials, grooming gadgets, everything screams, get rid of it, trim it, burn it with lasers. And culturally, nose hair is almost always used as a joke. If someone has visible strands sticking out, it's shorthand for old, unkempt, maybe a little gross. But the irony is, while we treat it like useless body clutter, nose hair is actually one of the most ancient and effective defense systems our bodies have. A biological security guard. A fuzzy force field. The unsung bouncer at the club of your face. Here's what's really going on. Every time you breathe in, you're not just pulling in oxygen. You're inhaling dust particles, pollen, spores, bacteria, viruses, and all kinds of microscopic freeloaders floating in the air. Your nose hairs, called vibrissae in science speak, act like a physical filter. They slow down and trap the big invaders before they can march further into your airways. Think of them as nature's version of the lint trap in a washing machine. Not glamorous, but without them, the whole system gets clogged. And they don't work alone. Once particles get past the outer hairs, they face the mucus layer deeper inside the nose. Sticky, gross, but genius. Together, hairs and mucus create a two-step security system. Block, then trap. Your brain? Safely protected from a direct stream of dusty chaos. This is where it gets even more fascinating. The nose isn't just an air passage, it's like a VIP entrance straight to the brain. Unlike your skin or stomach, which have multiple layers of defense, the olfactory system is a bit of a back door. Some viruses and harmful particles can use it as a shortcut, traveling through your nasal cavity into the central nervous system. That's one reason evolution put a hairy gate there in the first place. Nose hairs are literally guarding the most important organ you have. Without them, you'd be more vulnerable not just to colds and allergies, but potentially to far nastier invaders. So yes, those tiny little strands might look silly in the mirror, but in the bigger picture, they're standing between you and neurological disaster. Of course, like most things in biology, balance is everything. Too few nose hairs? You breathe in more allergens and dust. Too many? You feel like you're suffocating through a shag carpet. Interestingly, researchers have found that people with denser nose hair tend to suffer less from asthma because fewer allergens get into their lungs. But at the same time, excessive nasal hair growth, called trichosis, can interfere with airflow and, well, doesn't exactly win beauty contests. And here's the kicker. As we age, nose hair tends to grow faster, thicker, and more stubborn. Why? Because of hormonal changes, specifically androgens like testosterone, which makes certain hair follicles more active. That's why older men often notice their nostrils turning into miniature jungles. So next time you tease your dad about his nose hair, remember, it's not neglect, it's biology. But if nose hair is so important, should we really be trimming it? The short answer, yes, but carefully. Trimming the visible tips won't harm your defenses. The important filtering happens deeper inside the nostrils, where hairs still form a barrier. But aggressive removal, like waxing or plucking, can backfire. You're not just opening the gates for dust, you're also risking infection. Plucking a nose hair can create tiny wounds, and since the veins in your face connect directly to the brain's blood supply, in rare cases, a small infection can turn serious. This is why doctors sometimes warn against messing too much with the so-called danger triangle of the face, the area around the nose and upper lip. It's not about scaring you, it's just a reminder that biology doesn't always forgive vanity. Now here's a curious twist. Why do we find visible nose hair so offensive when it's literally saving our lives? It's partly cultural. Across societies, body hair has always been loaded with meaning: youth versus age, strength versus weakness, wildness fuzz, refinement. Head hair is celebrated as beauty. Facial hair on men goes in and out of fashion. But nose hair? Always stigmatized. Maybe because it's a reminder of mortality, aging, hormones, and the body's slow rebellion against our desire for smooth perfection. In a way, our obsession with removing nose hair is like trying to edit evolution for aesthetics. We want the benefits, but without the look. So let's pause for a moment. Imagine a parallel world where nose hair was considered attractive. Maybe long, elegant strands styled into tiny braids. Maybe influencers on Instagram flexing their nostril fringe. Sounds absurd, right? But then again, so would our current obsession with plucked eyebrows or bleached hair to someone from another century. Cultural beauty standards are just that, standards, not laws of nature. Nose hair just hasn't had its fashion moment yet. But zoom out, and nose hair becomes more than a grooming nuisance. It's a reminder of how our bodies are full of invisible, unglamorous systems working tirelessly for survival. Systems we barely notice until we think about them. We evolved to survive in dusty caves, smoky fires, and pathogen-rich environments. Today, we live in filtered, air-conditioned buildings, yet the same primitive tools, like nose hair, still guard us. It's like carrying a pocket knife in the age of smartphones. You might not need it every day, but when you do, it's priceless. So, the next time you lean into the mirror and sigh at that annoying little strand, remember, that's not an accident. That's millions of years of evolution, protecting your lungs, your brain, and your life. It's not glamorous. It's not fashionable. But it's necessary. And maybe, just maybe, the ugliest parts of us are also the most loyal. After all, what's a little embarrassment compared to having a living, breathing security system inside your nose? So here's the real question. If something as tiny as a single hair can guard your brain from the chaos of the outside world, what else in your body, or your mind, might be quietly protecting you in ways you've never noticed?